How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So glad each and every one of you can make it. Today we're going to be making Spectraflame paint. That's right, making our own. So stay tuned. Now you've all seen them, those wildly popular translucent paint jobs that they put on premium cars now. But back in the day when Hot Wheels first started, that's all they used. And as you can see, I've made my own right here. This is actually a pink. It looks red, but it's pink. See, PK for pink. There's a place that makes it and sells it. They've worked really hard to match the colors and everything. That's the Redline shop. By all means, you know, if you want the true, authentic Spectraflame paint for your customs, order it from the Redline shop. It's like $7 to $9 a bottle. A bottle that's just a little bit bigger than this. It's fatter around, but it's about the same height. By all means, order it from him because, you know, it'll be true, authentic, and everything. But if you want to make your own, all you need is, and his bottles are about that same height, but they're probably about that, you know, about that big around, and you pay anywhere from $7 to $10 depending on color. And then you have to have hardener with it too, or activator. But today I'm going to show you how to make your own. It's really, really simple. I'm going to look like a dork doing it, but you know, it is what it is. But the first thing we have to do is we have to buy the clear coat, because that's all, or urethane, that's all the Spectraflame paint is a tinted urethane. So you can buy 2K clear or whatever your favorite brand is and all that, or if you have a favorite that's in an aerosol, we can get it out of that. And that's actually what I'm using today. And it's called Decanting. And first I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to actually mix your paints. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Class is in session. That's right. You have one of these. And, you know, you're sitting around the house. You want to work on a hobby. And for whatever you paint something, you know that you have a particular color on hand, so you don't have to run to the store and get it and everything, but you want the finish that an airbrush can give you, right? So how do you get it out of this can? Well, that's what it's called, is decanting. It means exactly what it sounds like it means. It's taking whatever's in here and getting it out. Now I will try to remember to put in a picture if I can, but for the sake of argument, if I don't, if you've never looked inside of one of these cans, what it is, you can get the top off. You know, you have the dome shape and you have the spray nozzle. That's where everything comes out, of course. Well, from here down to like right about there, there's a tube. It's called a pickup tube, okay? And that's what everything comes out of. Well, how do you get the paint out of this? Well, you have to have something to force it out. That's called a propellant. And typically what happens is you've got about this much paint, this much propellant to that much paint, right? So when you press this nozzle, the propellant pushes down, right? Because the liquid is heavier than propellant, but the propellant pushes down and forces the paint to come out. But that's the whole reason you shake it too, is so that you can get all that stuff that's in the bottom, all the pigments, all the liquids, all that stuff mixed up, and in some cases the propellant will actually mix with it to force it out. So I'm going to show you how to do it. There's a couple ways. You can spray it into a container, you can spray it directly into your airbrush, into the cup, right? Or you can take it out of there. So let's get to it. I'll show you the spraying it into a container first, and then I'll show you the taking it out of the can. Alright, so here's the process. Since I'm going to be mixing my own Spectraflame paint, we have to have the paint, number one, and then we have to have the color. So what you do is you take your favorite paint, and in this case I would use 2K clear, but I don't have the money or the time to go get it for this project. I'm kind of behind the 8 ball. I know I've got a couple weeks, but I've got so much going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my favorite spray paint, polyurethane, which is clear gloss. But we have to get it out of there, and what this process is called is decanting. So there's 3 ways to do it. One way is to let it sit for a couple days, poke a hole up toward the top, cut the top off, pour all the paint out of it. Second way is to spray it into your airbrush, because you know airbrush puts down a slicker, finer finish than a aerosol can does. And the third way is to spray this into a container and then edge your tint, because that's all Spectraflame is anyway, is a polyurethane tint. I mean, there's lots of clear coats out there. You've got enamels, and I have an enamel that I really like that I use a lot, which is like a third of the cost of a good quality polyurethane. So, but because this is a special paint job and a car for somebody, you know, I want it to be right. So we're doing the polyurethane. I just went and picked that up, and we're going to mix our own. Because like I said, I don't have time for Spectraflame paint to come, because last time I ordered paint from the Redline shop, it took almost 2 months to get here. So here we go, we're going to get this out. Alright, so I only need enough for this bottle. This is probably about an ounce. So I'm going to spray it into this, and then I'm going to transfer it over to this, because it's just easier to get the paint and grip and everything with that. So all you got to do is shake it up really good. Now if you use the Rust-Oleum clear glaze, the nozzle on it is round and it has a hole in it, and you can actually put a straw in there. Sorry, but the neighbor of course is mowing again. Anyhow, they make caps with little straws on it to where you can get it out of the can that much easier. But in our case, we're just going to take the can, like I said, and we're just going to spray the crap out of it and catch the paint. That's really all there is to it. As you can see, you're not really getting that much liquid out. And you would think that this would be yellow because it's actually yellow coming out, but when it dries, it actually dries clear. But all you gotta do is just take it and pour it in. Again, it comes out yellow, but when you spray it and it dries, it comes out clear. And that's about all I need. We're going to set this over to the top, because you have to let this set for 5 or 6 hours for the propellant to get out of the paint. And then we'll add our color and we'll go from there. That's all there is to decanting it, or decanting it. And that stuff's cold when it comes out too. And by the time we add our color and it evaporates just a little bit from letting it sit out here and get the propellant out of it, that'll actually go down some. Now again, you got something that you want. In this case, it says clear gloss. Although we know that Minwax is not clear, it's got a yellow tint to it. If you're going to do this and you're under 14 years old, I strongly advise letting your parents do this, because number one, you're going to be poking a hole in this can with a sharp object, right? And number two, it's going to be letting stuff out as you do it, so it could potentially create a mess. Okay, what you want to do is you want to take the can, you want to let it sit for a couple days. This one has not been sitting for a couple days. This one has been sitting for about a day, day and a half. The reason you let it sit for a couple days is to allow everything to sit back down in the bottom, because that's what you want, is that liquid that's down in the bottom. But anyhow, you're going to need something sharp to poke the hole with, and you want to stay. So let me get this top off without shaking it too bad. Yep. You know, you want to stay somewhere down, I don't know, about an inch above the top. You sure don't want to go down here at the bottom. You don't want to be in the middle ways. You want to go up to the top so all the liquid stays down at the bottom. So now all there is to it is just take something really sharp and poke a hole in it. Until you start hearing it come out. And see, that's why I say, if you did that inside your house, you'd be having a mess all over your house. But you're just going to let it sit there for about 8 hours, because what's happening is that propellant, whenever it hits the atmosphere and the air, it wants to force everything out. So that's what it's going to do, is we're going to lose some, unfortunately, but what can you do? But we're going to let that sit there for about 6 to 8 hours and allow all that propellant to escape, and then we will take it and put it in another container. So just for giggles, in case something runs out down the side of the can, I'm going to set it on a paper towel, right? And we're just going to leave it there for a while. And then we will come back and we will make that hole that we just made a little bigger. See how it's not spraying out now? But you can still hear it. So the propellant is now coming out and there's no liquid coming out. So that's excellent. That's what we want. So we're going to let it set 6 to 8 hours, then we can come back and make that hole bigger, cut the top off of it, and then we can get the liquid out of the can. Alright, we had a little rain shower this morning. Look at that. I just let it sit out here overnight to let all that evaporate out of it. As you can see, nice and wet, everything. That's okay. Now what we got to do is find our hole that we poked, which is right there, and we just made that hole bigger. Big enough so we can get 10 snips in there, because we have to cut the top off of this, right? And that's why I say that you might want to get your parents' help, because there's going to be jagged edges and all kind of stuff. And there's what's inside one of these cans. Not much to it, is there? But there's actually pretty good bit of liquid in there, so you're of course going to have something to put it in. And put it in that bottle. And I gotta go get my funnel. Be right back. So put my funnel on top so we don't lose any, right? And then we're just gonna pour it in. And we just got the shaker ball too. So we can actually put that in other things, like other paints and stuff, like bottle paints and whatnot. Let's see what that actually was. Yep, just a ball bearing. Now that you know how to get the paint out of the can, right? It's odd that that's yellow and it dries clear, or 98% clear. Next time I make some, I'm going to actually buy some really clear. I'm thinking about actually buying a jug, saving up and buying a jug of 2K clear, because I really want to start using that. Everybody talks about how good it is, and that's fine. But for the budget-minded, home do-it-yourselfer, this is the best way to do it. Again, that involves getting the paint out of the can into some kind of container. And then I'm going to take it from that and put it in individual containers so I can mix my own colors, right? I bought these at the dollar store. You can get 40s in a pack. They're 0.6 ounces, so it's just a little over half an ounce. And the way that we're going to mix this is you can get a good ounce out of the tint. So, but it's up to you. By doing it and spraying it just with mixing one vial, it takes less coats. But you can actually fill this up, get it down about halfway, fill it up again, right? You can do that 3 times and that'll end up being a complete ounce, because this method is good for an ounce. And what you use, I'm sure you can use other pens, but I like big pens, and that's where we're getting our tint from. Believe it or not, it's that simple. That's where I got the tint from this, and look at how dark it is. I can actually take, I mean, that's enough to do 6 cars right there easily. Like I said, I can take it down halfway and fill it back up, and it'll just dilute it a hair, and that just means I have to put, you know, 1 or 2 more extra coats on it, so no big deal. But I'm going to show you how to get it out of there and into this. I am actually going to do all of these, but I'm just going to show you how to do one, okay? Alright, so first thing we need to do, now I'll just do light green, right? Just for the sake of the video for right now. But of course you want something to catch anything you spill, because it's possible you can knock these over. I need some kind of holder to do this, but with that stated, here we go. First thing I need to do is put some polyurethane in the jar, right? That's actually a hair too much. I'm going to put some of that back in. Got to leave room for the tint, right? But now all we do, and this is very, very simple, take your pen, take the cap off of it, take a pair of pliers, pull the whole insides out, and then you just go twist that off. And there is your tint. Now we're just going to stick it in there and blow it out. And this is where I'm going to be looking like a dork part, but you blow it out and that tints your urethane. And there it is. And you just take the tip, stick it back on, and you can actually write with that pen for a little bit of time. But we're not going to. This is just for the painting process, getting our colors. Then all you do is put the cap back on it, shake it up, and now you have green Spectraflame paint. And that'll become more translucent as it settles down. But now you have green. Look at that. You can see by the color of the foam in it. That's the green you're going to get. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and we'll be right back. But there you go, there is all the colors out of that. As you can see, it's super easy. For some reason the red and the black, I guess because it's a heavier pigment, went down to the bottom of the bottles and just sat there. And as you can see, they're still trying to do it, so we just need to make sure we mix it up. And they are also the hardest to blow out of the tubes. Like I said, I guess they're a heavier pigment. But just look at that. About any color Spectraflame paint you want, you can get, and very cheap. The pens were like $2, and the can of paint, urethane, was like $7. So just say for 10 bucks, you can get all these wonderful colors and even fill it back up and dilute it again, so you can get twice as much for 10 bucks, whereas you could get only 1 or 2 vials for like 10 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'd have ordered this, it'd been like $7.99 plus shipping, so there's 10 bucks. But I've got all these wonderful colors. They're very durable, they look really good, and they last for 10 bucks. Plus I've got the joy of knowing I did it myself, and that's always a fun thing. Whenever you know that you did something yourself, it just makes it that much more enjoyable. That's why we customize the cars. But I hope this video is useful. I hope this video is helpful and might give you an idea or two, because I mean, this was #1 fun, and it was super easy to do. So I strongly urge you to do this if you've ever thought about Spectraflaming your own cars. Yeah, there's the metal cast paint is okay. I mean, they've got some great colors and they work really good, but this just adds more originality, more authentic looking paint jobs, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing, I have nothing against the metal cast. I haven't used them yet, but I'm going to. But I mean, there's just something about a actual Spectraflame paint over a polished body. The metal cast just can't really give you that true look. So until next time, I hope this video was useful. I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you all so very much for watching.